Well, I'm on the phone with head football coach Mark Shields from MDI High School, as we are every Monday and Thursday during football season. And, Coach, that was a pretty good all-around complete game on Friday night, a 50-0 win over Hermon. Tell us about it, if you would.
Yeah, definitely, Chris. The theme of the week for us was to come out early and often. When you're taking on an opponent like Hermon, a young, up-and-coming team, with some players that can, make some plays, for sure. I mean, they've proven that the first 3 weeks, and, they're coming into the game 2-1. We're 2-1. The fear in a game like that is that we come out flat. We come out, maybe giving up a big special teams play, maybe a kickoff return, or we fumble our kickoff return, and they have momentum, and next thing you know, a team like that, and I've coached teams like that, where you're slowly turning the program around, and the highs are really high and the lows are pretty low, and we did not want them to get that quick high for sure early in the game, and the kids actually wanted to kick the ball off. I was going to take the ball and try to score as quickly as we could, but the kids were like, no, let's actually kick off. Well, sure enough, Hermon, they defer on the coin toss and kick it off to us, and fortunately we were able to have a good sustained drive and get in early, and then get the 2-point conversion and get up 8. And credit to them. They came right out their first drive, and they were pounding right down our throats.
Yeah.
I mean, they were just running fullback dive, tailback ISO. That's kind of power football, and that we weren't expecting them to do that.
Right, a team that had thrown so many times in the first 3 weeks came out running.
Yeah, definitely. And, they picked up, 2 or 3 first downs that first drive, and unfortunately we were able to get a stop, but credit to them. They are doing all the right stuff up there. Talking to the coaching staff after the game, they have tremendous numbers in their youth program, and sure enough, my son Jacob, he's on our 5th and 6th grade team. Well, we go up to Hermon on Sunday to play their 5th and 6th grade team, and they have 45 guys.
Wow.
Yeah, 45 guys between 2 classes, and I guess their middle school team has good numbers, and the 3rd and 4th grade team has good numbers. So, the future's bright for Hermon football.
Shout out to the AYS team. They tied Hermon, I think, was it 12-all?
Yep, it was 12-12, and, it was a great game back and forth between the 2 teams. And, kind of like our Winslow game, our team ended up, I think we might have had 3 or 4 turnovers, but it was a fun game to watch. But, they're going to be a program you're going to see in the next couple of years. I think they're going to be at the top of the heap of our conference for sure.
All right, so let's I'm very impressed. I mean, Drew Rich ran back a punt for about 69 yards. That was a key play in the game.
Yep, definitely. And Drew, we saw that twice last year. I say, or maybe even 3 times. I can't remember, but he definitely ran one back against Hermon last year in a punt return, and he did against Oceanside, maybe twice against Oceanside. Yeah. I can't remember, but he's just a natural of that. At that, he has that deceptive speed. We talked about this the other day. I don't know if he's up, as fast as Kobe Lee, but he's pretty good. He's pretty close. He has that long gait, and he just has a feel for it. Not every kid can do that, sit back there and the ball's in the air for the punt or the kickoff, and, the defense is screaming down the field to try to hit you pretty hard, and, he just has a way of being patient when he returns it, and then once he finds that seam, he hits it fast, and he was able to do that, and I think that might have been our 4th touchdown, and, kind of sealed the deal for us there in the second quarter. But, Drew had a great game, and I'm actually going to give him the game ball this week.
Well, that was my next question. Who's getting the game ball? Plus, he converted, 4 extra points, I think?
Yep, he did. He kicked 4 extra points. We did put Jacob Gregory out there for one of them. Yep. Jacob, we always joke with the guys that, we have a kicking controversy here at MDI because Jacob, he doesn't necessarily look like a kicker. He's kind of this, he's a little vertically challenged, but he's a strong, rugged guy. I mean, he's a linebacker, fullback guy. How many of those guys actually kick extra points?
Right.
And Drew looks more like a kicker, but Jacob, in practice, he belts him right through there. He looks good, so we let him kick one as well. And
he pounded it in.
He did. He's good. I think he's good from pretty deep. So, which bodes well for next year for our kicking game. So I was happy that he was able to get a shot and put that through the uprights. But Drew, he's been getting it done for us for numerous years now, and had a big year last year, and this year he's having another big year. And one of our captains, a good leader, and real happy for him.
And you were able to get everybody in the game. I mean, the seconds and thirds, which played havoc with me, but it was good for the boys to be able to get out there and play.
Yep, definitely, and especially where we're not playing JV football this year. Those young guys, they're working hard in practice every day, and football, I play a lot of the sports, but football is a lot different. I mean, when you go on the practice field for football, you're going to work, and those guys work hard every day, so we were real pleased that we were able to get those guys in there. And the nice thing is there's this new thing called the JV Jamboree, and this is something they've been doing for the last 2 or 3 years up in the Orono area. And basically it's for programs that they don't have enough kids to run a full JV squad, but they do have some kids that aren't able to get on the varsity field at a consistent basis. So we're sending 10 guys up there today to Orono. There's like 4 or 5 other schools that are part of this, and they get up there. We're leaving here around 2:30, and they'll get up there around 3:30 or so, and then they'll practice with some other kids from other schools, which is kind of cool, and they'll go over some offense and defense, and then they'll actually play a real game by the end of it. So our guys are real excited about that.
Oh, very cool. So you've got a game against John Bapst Friday night on the turf. You guys are 3-1. Bapst is 0-4. How do you avoid teams looking past John Bapst for the game against Madison on homecoming?
Yeah, that's a great question.
I've worked all weekend on that question.
Yeah, I know you thought long and hard on that one, huh? It's one of these games that.
This is a trap game. I mean,
you could call it a trap game. I mean, like any game for us, we're looking to get better every week and learn from what we did in our past game and versus Hermon, and then apply that to our next opponent, which is John Bapst. And John Bapst, the thing about a team that hasn't gotten a victory, they're excited to get a win, and they're going to be excited up there. And who knows? I don't know if it's their homecoming or not at that time of year.
It probably is.
It could be, right? So you're playing on the turf, and they're going to be excited, and they have some guys that can do some things to you. So. For us, it's staying focused. One of the big things I talked to the kids last week versus Hermon was to come out early. Don't come out in this football game thinking that you're so much better than Hermon, and then Hermon all of a sudden, once again gets one of those big plays early in the game, and then you're in a dogfight all night long because those teams that are, they're having some down years, and I've had them. When you get into a game where all of a sudden things start to go your way, and the emotions are high, you can hang with some teams, and so they're going to be ready to play. Plus, they're very well coached.
Yeah, Dan O'Connell's a good coach.
Yeah, he's one of the best coaches in the state. I mean, this guy, he's won a state championship. He won that back in 2008. He had some incredible teams back then, and he knows what he's doing. So it's not like you're going to fool his coaching staff. They're going to know what to do, and so it's a matter of us executing, doing what we're supposed to do, and hopefully, put the ball in the end zone and stop them from scoring.
That being said, what are your thoughts on Madison beating Winslow and stopping that huge winning streak?
Yeah, hats off to Madison, and that was one of those games. You and I had talked about it, and I said if I'm a betting man, I'm probably going to put my money on Winslow. However, I was not shocked that Madison beat them, especially up there in Madison. When I saw some of the scores where Madison rolled Dover Foxcroft, and I thought, that means these guys are good.
Right.
And they are good, and we'll talk more next week about them. But, big kids up front, huge offensive line, strong quarterback, strong running backs, good defensively. I mean, they are a quality football team. So, good for them. It was nice to see that a team was able to knock Winslow off, and it'll be interesting to see how Winslow responds to that. I'm sure they weren't very pleased, and
and they've got a huge game against Oceanside this week.
Yeah, and Oceanside, they're ripping off wins down there. So, it's really a fun league to be part of. Some real quality teams out there, and we'll see. How things go this week against John Bapst. Hopefully, we get better and we're able to do well up there. And but then our focus after that will be Madison. But we definitely will not be looking past the Crusaders.
All right, what do you want to tell everyone? You'd love to have a big crowd up in Bangor. I mean, that's not that far away for fans to travel to. Heck, I do definitely. It almost daily. I mean,
yeah. I mean, it's great that we're not too far away. We're going to be playing on the turf up there at Husson, and that's pretty exciting. And I know the kids are pretty excited about that, where we don't normally play on turf. And it would be great if we can get some people up there to cheer on the Trojans. But once again, if you're not able to get up to that game, the following Friday night we have our homecoming game versus Madison here at MDI. So thank you again for your tremendous, continued support, and hopefully we can make you proud again Friday night.
Yeah, and there's no doubt you're going to need a huge crowd for that homecoming game against Madison.
Yep, definitely. Everybody we can get out there.
And then some.
Yep.
All right, Coach, have a good week. We'll talk to you on Thursday as we get ready for John Bapst on Friday night, September 30th.
All right, Chris, thank you.